Hello guys, I am not sure if the music in the background works, but hello. I played 100 matches of solo queue to track statistics concerning the Perk Overhaul update. Most importantly, the perks that were brought into the trial from both Survivor and Killers, and the win rates from both sides. So this video will combine all the statistics I got from those 100 matches of solo queue, and I will compare them to a video I have done 11 to 12 months ago, in order to see whether or not this update changed the meta. Feel free to check the timetable of this video to see the different topics I'll talk about, and in case you want to watch the old 100 matches statistics, the link will also be there. These matches were played from July 20th, 2022 until August 11th, 2022, in which I was Ash 2 grade and got to Iridescent 2 grade. In my opinion, I think the Perk Overhaul was a healthy update introduced into the game because it introduced new ways for players to experience the game. Of course, that is my opinion as a game designer who saw that this update did manage to remove a main problem in the game, known as the meta builds, and gave players new builds to choose from and play with within its game mechanics. To begin with, I will start talking about which perks were used mostly during those 100 games for survivors. I will not include my own perks in order to not alter with the results. In these 100 games, 1,200 perks were brought into the trial, and the top 5 perks used mostly are the following: Off the Record with 84 appearances, Windows of Opportunity with 78 appearances, Boon's Circle of Healing with 72 appearances, Lithe with 71 appearances, and Prove Thyself with 62 appearances. And to relate to the old video, the most perks used 11 to 12 months ago, long before the Perk Overhaul update came out, will be shown on the table on screen. In purple are the top 5 most used perks 11 to 12 months ago, with a comparison to how much they were used during this current 11 matches. 11, I meant 100. And in red are the top 5 perks used currently, with a comparison to how much they were used 11 to 12 months ago. Not only do we see a change in perks, but also in numbers, which means many other perks were used rather than sticking mainly to the first 5 perks. Also, this means that perks that got nerfed from being meta were used less, and new perks started being used. A list of all the other perks used during those 100 games will be shown now in comparison to the previous 100 matches to compare between both statistics. Feel free to pause whenever to check the different numbers. As for Killer, the top 5 most perks used during these 100 matches, 400 in total, are Thanatophobia with 22 appearances, Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance with 22 appearances, Save the Best for Last with 20 appearances, Bamboozle with 18 appearances, and Lethal Pursuer with 17 appearances. And to relate to the old video, the most perks used 11 to 12 months ago, long before the Perk Overhaul update came out, will be shown in the table on screen. In purple are the top 5 most used perks 11 to 12 months ago, with a comparison with how much they were used during this current 100 matches. And in red are the top 5 perks used currently, with a comparison to how much they were used 11 to 12 months ago. Not only do we see a change in perks, except for Bamboozle, but also in numbers, which means many other perks were used rather than sticking mainly to the first 5 most used perks. Also, this means that perks that got nerfed from being meta were used less, and now perks started being used. Other perks. Anyways, a list of all the other perks used during these 100 games will be shown now in comparison to the previous 100 matches, to compare between both statistics. Feel free to pause whenever to check the different numbers. And now, I'll be discussing 3 aspects of the endgame statistics of these 100 matches. The first being average generator completion, the second being average escape rates, and the third being hook stage upon death and escapes. To begin with, For average generator completion, the numbers will be shown on screen. In these 100 matches, 5 generators were done 58 times, 4 generators were done 13 times, 3 generators were done 12 times, 2 generators were done 12 times, 1 generator was done 3 times, and 0 generators was done 2 times. So even with the nerf done on generators, we can still see that it is possible for survivors to do generators. I will be showing the pie chart from 11 to 12 months ago to showcase how the numbers are still more or less related to one another. We're going to relate the average gen completion to the second part, average escape rates, and the numbers from these 100 matches will be shown on screen. 4 escapes were done 15 times, 3 escapes were done 14 times, 2 escapes were done 14 times, 1 escape was done 24 times, and 0 escapes was done 33 times. Which means if we consider 4 to 3 escapes as a win for survivor and 1 to 0 escapes a win for killer, survivors won 28 times and killer won 57 times, and a draw happened 14 times. Comparing both average generator completion with average escape rates, we can see that even if generators were completed much more, killers still found a way to get more wins than losses. Both pie charts will be placed next to each other for a comparison. For a third part, hook stages upon death and escapes from my own side during the 100 games, I was able to escape 43 times out of the 100 matches. I died on first hook 9 times, second hook 13 times, and on third hook 33 times. I died from slugging once and from a mori once. Finally, just to compare another aspect from the video I have done 11 to 12 months ago, I will also show which survivors were brought into the trial mostly from my random teammates and which killers I faced mostly. To begin with, for survivors, the top 5 survivors I played with are Nia Carlson with 28 times, Meg, Thomas, Claudette Morel, and Feng Men with 23 times each, and Michaela Reed with 19 times. Survivors like Sibel Bennett, Lisa Garland, Chris Redfield, and Alessa were not brought once. A list of all the survivors will be shown on screen right now. As for killers, the top 5 killers I played against are the following: the Legion with 12 times, the Blight with 11 times, the Nurse with 8 times, Michael Myers with 6 times, and the Nemesis with 6 times. Killers like the Hag, the Doctor, and the Artist were not brought once. A list of all the killers will be shown on screen right now. Well, that's the video. I do hope you guys found this interesting, and please feel free to give me your opinions, outputs, and your own struggles with the new update. I want to thank you all for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, since working on this video really did, and yes, I know I'm repeating myself since the last video, made me question my life decisions again. Thank you, and goodbye.